kicking it with the Junkyard Dog on junkyarddogs.com. Next, we're gonna work on the doors. The doors that are on there now, doesn't have a latch. The mechanism of the door doesn't work. There's no motor. The glass is off track. I mean, it's all jacked up. So we're gonna just go ahead and swap out the whole door. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that and to set the doors properly so they don't sag or shut funny, okay?
So looking at these doors a little bit more now, the shell itself is in good shape, but you know, on further inspection, you start to notice a few things. Number one, there's no latch, okay? The handles, they don't work. All the mechanism inside is gone. Another thing is the lock itself is bondoed up, and this glass is off track, okay? And it's got a pretty awful tint on it. I don't really like the mirror tint. And the motor is gone for the power window. So rather than putting it back together, which will probably take me a couple days, I'm just going to replace it with a good core. We'll just replace both of them because the other one has similar issues as well. Okay, so we're going to start taking off the door. First thing you want to pay attention to is the wiring harness. You want to get that out. This is some janky wiring. I don't know what this is. I think it goes to, let's see. Oh, it goes to a popper. So there was an actual popper in there. And as you can see, somebody stuck a goob of Bondo in there trying to cover the hole. And then they ran this wire through here to activate the popper. Now guys, don't ever run wiring like this. I mean, through holes and stuff. These things, these pieces of sheet metal here, they act like knives, and then they cut into the wire, and it's gonna act like a blade and just cut through the wire. This is how you get fire started, man, and short circuits and problems and popping fuses and all sorts of stuff. Here is a ground. We keep going up the wire here. This is the wiring for the plugs or the controls, the window controls. We got some speaker wires somewhere, or for some reason up in here. We're gonna keep going, and then we have one connection here, and this one's got a little lip on it, so it's pretty easy. You just pull it off and yank it, and it comes off. It's good. And this one's for the power mirror. It doesn't have a lip on it, so it's a lot more difficult. So for these ones, I tend to like to take a screwdriver, just put it in there and then pull it off, all right? Once we do all that, we're gonna fish everything through this opening here. It's hard to see, that opening there, and pull all the wires out. We're just gonna rest it in the car. This accordion is what protects the wires from the elements, you know, from being between the fender and the door, you know what I mean? And then we're gonna take off the fender because it makes it a lot easier, and it'll give me an opportunity to get that area underneath the fender nice and cleaned up. All right, so let's get to it. It took a lot of finagling to get that mug out of there. It was kind of tight. Turns out there is a motor in here, as you can kind of see. We thought there wasn't, but there's a motor in there. It's all janky though, man. And this was a ground bolt. We used a 7mm socket to take this off. So yeah, we worked it out. So here's the mess of wires. I don't know what the speaker wire is doing in here. I don't know what this is all about. But we're gonna clean this up before we jam it through the new door. So we're gonna just leave that to the side. We're gonna put it through the door, put the main harness through the door, but we're definitely going to see if we can find another harness in the junkyard. That would be a lot easier than to have to, you know, go through this and resolder everything. So let's see if we can find that option first. If not, we'll just go ahead and clean it up. All right, we found this 88, and looks like it's got the full harness there without anything being cut so far. So, except for the speaker wire here, but that's nothing. So we got the wiring harness for the door. So we're gonna head back to the yard. Once again, you know what I'm saying? I live up in this mug. Okay guys, so this is what I'm talking about with wiring harness. So here's the old one, here's a new one. See the difference? That's why I don't want to use this. This is a fire waiting to happen. It looks like these bolts, there's one in there. It's 8mm. And then there's 2 Phillips head screws you got to remove here to just move the molding back. And then underneath here, you see it? There, there. That's an 8mm. And these up here should be 8, but doesn't have any. This one's broke. That one's not there. We just took that one out. So the fender's actually not really even attached very well. And then underneath in the wheel well, you have these bolts up here that are attached to the fascia, and that's attached to the frame. And that's what keeps it, you know, the fascia attached. That's like one of the supporting kind of things. So yeah, we're gonna just remove that and then take the fender off, and then we can be able to get to these doors. If you look in the cut there, you see the 2 hinges right there. See it? 3 bolts. Right now we're underneath the car. So we removed 1, 2, 3 to get the fender off. 11mm nuts. And then this is a bolt, and it looks like it's an 8mm like the other ones. So yeah, it is. As I fit the 8mm on there. So we're gonna take that off, and that's what's gonna release not only the fascia from, and there's one more thing, but it's not even attached. You see, there's no nut there. Alright, so after we get it back on the ground, put 2 jack stands under the door. Real simple, man. You know? So now that we got those under there, it's just going to ensure that it doesn't slam and hit the ground or strip these bolt holes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as we're taking it out, you know, the pressure might strip them. So we're going to go ahead and remove those 6 bolts and take the door off. Let's go. We got a shot right now of the door removed. Real simple. So basically, guys, there's a door. So basically, you're gonna remove the bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you gotta stop it from tipping and falling on the ground. So you just put your body against it while you're taking it out, and then once it's loose, you just you and a friend, or if you're strong enough, pull it off yourself and put it to the side. Before we get to mounting the other door, I have enough foresight to know that this is gonna be really hard to paint and to clean up once the door's back on. So we're gonna use some real simple tactics here to clean it up. Sandpaper and some Rustoleum satin paint. This paint takes a long time to dry, but it dries hard, man. I've done rear ends with this, and it really sticks, man. It's good. So that's us doing a light sanding, and then just went ahead and hit it with some paint. It doesn't have to be super thick or anything, just because this part's really not going to see a whole lot of road abrasion, but this is. So I just gave it a little paint. Alright, something you want to think about before you put the doors on, because now it's been painted, it's all clean and everything, is you see these here brackets, or these plates. These will hold the brackets in place, right? And over the years they get rusty, so they're loose. They actually just float back here. So you just take it, you can get it out. Let's see, taking a little, it's fighting me a little bit. But let me see back here. As you can see, up in there, right? You see it? Okay, let's go ahead and get it out. All right, and that's all it is. So we're gonna clean this up because I pay attention to detail. So we're gonna clean this up and then reinstall it. We're gonna chase the threads because over the years, you know, the doors swing back and forth, and it'll make it just like new. All right. Here are the door brackets. You know, this is driver top, you know. So I put them on a deburr wheel, just got them all nice and clean. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint them. And then, yeah, man, put them back in. That's how we do it, man. Junkyard Dogs keeps it nice and thorough, all right? These are the brackets that hold the doors. We painted them just for good measure. And that's just how I do, okay? So to put these back in, it's real simple. It just slides into the back here. Let me go ahead. When you see that how it works, you're gonna put the side with the bumps facing towards you, and then slide this big side up, put it in on an angle. Boom. So that's what it looks like from the outside. Door hinges are in. So for the wiring harness from the door, you got this main plug right here that goes into this big plug here that goes, you know, all across the dash or the dash area. Then you have this black plug here, which if you move down here, it plugs into this plug here. And then you have a speaker plug here that goes to this speaker plug, which has been cut, so I'm gonna have to get at that as well. All right. So we take the wiring harness that we replaced yesterday. See, only thing that's broken off on this is the speakers, and you know already we're gonna put new speaker wires in there. So we're gonna actually put the door in position, run the wires through the door first before we try to put it back into the onto the frame. All right, so first thing you want to do, even before we start lifting the door, is you want to start running the wiring harness through the door. This is the wiring harness we pulled from the junkyard. So first you're going to run through this. Take your time because you don't want to, you know, cut the wires by accident with this steel. Okay, and you just run in each connector one by one, and then try to grab it as soon as you can, because the motor is right there. The window motor is right there, so you gotta be careful to get it around, especially this big one here. But it's definitely kind of a pain. All right, get that one down. There we go. All right, and then see as you get it as far as you can. You want to just bring the door in closer so you can get a little bit more slack. You just run it in, all right? So we'll show you guys in a minute. As you can see, you're coming through this hole right here. That's how they all come through, right here, okay? This is where the motor's actually back here. So you're gonna run all the wires through this area right here, okay? So give me a few minutes and I'll pull it through. As you can see, some of it's coming. There you go. But you gotta be cool on it, man, because you don't want to cut the wires all up. That's why you got the electrical tape on there. That's one of the reasons. So what we did, after you run the wire, you don't run it all the way through. You run it about halfway through. You know what I'm saying? So after you run the wire into a good amount, you're gonna start to line it up. So first thing you want to do is you want to lift the door. So we have this jack right here. So we're gonna jack it up because it's heavy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need a little help. So we're gonna lift the door, put it in place. Then what I did was I replaced the top bolt. I don't know if you remember or heard, but one of the earlier videos, when you open the door, they made a really bad, like creaky kind of sound. That's because the top bolt is a bolt that takes the most abuse. This one has, like it's gouged out on the top from rust over the years. I don't know if you can see that or not. So we decided to change this bolt, and we went to Ace Hardware and we bought a shouldered bolt with a little sleeve here, see? So that this won't happen again, okay, see? All right, and these are the two top bolts, okay? So we're gonna use this on the two top bolts because the top bolts is what holds most of the weight, all right? Put in that top bolt. You don't got to tie it in tight. Just enough so it won't drop off again. Okay? We'll get to it. And after you get the top one in, that's what holds the weight. You kind of just finger tighten these other ones in. Sometimes you need to kind of lift the door a little bit to kind of let go some of the weight so you can actually get it in the hole. All right, so when you're tightening in the bolts, you're not tightening them to make this a permanent lockdown right now. Right now, you just want to get it in place so that you can actually shimmy it. So what you want to do is get it tight enough to where you kind of have an idea of where you want it to be. Okay? Right now it's sagging. Don't like the way it looks. So you get the bolts close but not locked down. So meaning you want it to where it's loose enough where you can still move it. All right, so we've moved on now. The door's on. So what I meant when I said, look here, okay? You put the bolts in where the actual hinge is touching the frame, so it's not all jiggling around. But you want it loose enough that it'll still move, okay? When you decide to do your adjustments, okay? See how it's loose? I'm barely doing anything. It's, you know, it's still moving. Now the idea, okay, is to shim the door so that it shuts perfectly every time without like clanking, okay? Okay, so see how it shut there? Didn't like that, okay? It's, see that? See that? It shouldn't be doing that, okay? So to adjust that, or to shim it, you're gonna wanna see how high you want it to shut properly, okay? You want it there to shut properly, right there, okay? See how the corner is nice and there, the line is nice and even? You want it to shut right there, okay? So now that you got it set to the height that you want, we're gonna go ahead and tighten down the top bolt, okay? That's how you gotta have it, okay? So that's how I put on the door. That's why I hang the door. Doesn't take much for me to lock it, okay? No clanking, no weirdness, just boom, okay? Once you get it like that, tighten down the rest of the bolts. I like to use a needle type torque wrench because it just prevents you from over tightening stuff. So I like to use about 30 foot-pounds on the door. Now that we've gotten to the stage, we can actually put the rest of the wiring through. Be careful, you don't want to mess the wiring up and you know, get it where they cut into the copper of the wire itself because of the metal, because you know this metal here is sharp, okay? So just take your time and try to, you know, just have patience, guys, you know what I'm saying? And then once we get it through, we're gonna put a little bit of oil around the edge of this, and it'll help it slip into that hole back there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a hole back here where we're putting the wires through. This rubber grommet protects the wires from getting cut. So I'm taking this 10W30 oil I had laying around and took a little bit in the cap, take some on my finger here, and I'm going to just put it around the edge of this rubber grommet here, so we don't have to struggle too much getting it in. Provide a little lubrication, and there, now it's in. Boom. Okay. All right, you see how the door here, like it sits a little out, doesn't sit flush? I don't like that. I'm a real stickler for that kind of thing. I like for the door to sit flush. See how it's got a little play there? It just looks really bad. I don't like it. So when you open the door here, and look, you're gonna see the striker down here. This can be adjusted, all right? It can be adjusted front ways, it can be adjusted back ways, so we're gonna go back. Yeah, man, so what you gotta do, you gotta take you a Torx T50 bit, okay? Put it on your ratchet and loosen the nuts, check it out. T50, all right? Boom. All right, so go ahead, stick that in, and I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen it. All right, push it back. See how it goes back and forth? Push it back. Tighten it by hand just a little bit. Make sure that it's straight. Boom. And then we go ahead and retighten it, man. So by the time we close the door now, it should be nice and flush. So that's how I like my stuff. I like everything to look like it just came like that. Boom. There it is. Smooth. Even shuts better, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, so there it is. That's how you put on a door. That's how you hang a door properly. You know what I mean? You don't just throw them on there. That's how you know, I could have worked at the Ford factory, goddammit.